minutes.
You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome back to the AFL Fantasy Podcast on the Insight Fantasy Sports channel. I'm BK with you as always, joined by Nathan. Nathan, you happy with footy back?
Yeah, good to have it back. Just a very small appetizer this weekend, wasn't it?
It's a little taster. Tease us.
I already didn't like the idea of it being 4 games, and then let's just cut it in half.
Yeah.
Not the greatest, but
yeah.
we did at least get one very cracking game, and then we got to see Collingwood get smashed. So
That's
really two great results.
good weekend. Yeah, my prediction I was feeling a little bit sheepish on the last episode. It's looking pretty good. 1 game, well, 0 games in, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out as the season goes. As you guys could probably see for the YouTube viewers, my beautiful lion's shrine that's normally behind me is non-existent. I've had to evacuate the den down up in Brisbane with that cyclone Alfred. We've been out of power for 3 or 4 days now, and we're not due back until after Friday night, so I'm gonna have a few different little backdrops for you all to see, but we had to get the podcast out regardless. Enough of my little sob story, Nathan. I can see how sympathetic you are for me there. Let's dive into from one lovely loving home to another. Enough about me. Let's dive into who lit it up on the weekend. This is why I'm hot. You know what, Nathan, no prompt. You tell us who the highlight of game 1 was for us.
Yeah, well, Will Day. We saw what he did in that first half. He nearly cracked the ton by half time.
96.
It's 96. That's
96.
crazy. Then he started having a bit of cramp problems, bit of tagging problems with James Jordan, but that's just such a great score, and it's just guaranteed cash gen for us. Like, I don't think we can turn that down. Like, even if you weren't sold on him before, like, I know for myself, he was sort of bouncing in and out of the team a bit, but a 130 built in already, that's guaranteed. If he goes 90 next week, he's still going to go up more than just about any player in the comp. So it's as good a value as you're going to get. And if he does end up being like a 105, 110 sort of player, then that's just outstanding bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. How much, because what's he priced at? He priced at about 70.
Yeah, mid-70s.
Mid-high 70s, yeah. How much cash does that make him off the bat? Because with the built-in, round 0.
Yeah, he's going to probably go up. Like, if he has a good round 1 game, he could possibly even push 100k in a week. Like, that's possible.
Yeah, you get the round 0, and that's into his 5-game rolling average as well. You'll get that score in there for the first 5 of the season, that midfield where obviously you can trade them out for some other guys that may have fallen in price, or you just think are going to go that next step. Miki in the game as well. Nathan, you see him as an option?
He puts his hand up. It's probably not one we thought about too much. Priced at 88. He's got a bit of upside in him. Like, we've seen him progress a lot last season. We feel like he's going to do a bit better this year. Was it going to be enough? Like, probably not. But similar to today, he's got that little bit of cash gen just built in now. So there's an argument for it for sure. Like, he gets a couple of weeks of generating more cash than what other ruckmen are going to be doing before his buy. Downside is, of course, you have to trade him on after that or at that buy, or you're going to trade him on at some point, and it's just a bit harder with the rucks. Like, if it's a Will Day, for example, and you decide you want to get rid of him after a few weeks, there's 1,000 midfielders to trade him to, so you don't have that option with Miki. But I mean, he couldn't have done much more to impress us, really. Like, that was a great game, wet weather as well. Like,
and Grundy's no slouch as well.
Yeah, you don't expect the big man to dominate in the wet, so I think it's definitely one that needs to be considered now that we probably weren't thinking about before.
Our man Matt Roberts, we've both had him locked into our defense, struggling defense at that all season, and he's just showed what he can do, and something we brought up on the watch along we had going for the for this game, obviously, which we plan to have going regularly if you guys need need some company or a change of perspective to watch the footy with. He was on 10 at quarter time.
Oh, it was something woeful, yeah.
Uh-huh. And at that point you're thinking, oh no, is we sort of played into this role as it staying whatever. But then you cut that out, and he's gone 94 in the last 3 quarters.
Yeah, well, he's shown he can get the ball. He's probably one of their more composed players down back. He doesn't have to take on the most dangerous kicks, and that's fine for us. We saw as the game went on too. He was happy to run hard to get those +6s for us. So. I feel like it's a pretty safe one to put in when you've got a back line that's looking a bit poor, I'd say. Not a lot of great fantasy options.
No.
Now we've got a mid-pricer. Yeah, a mid-pricer that you can feel pretty safe. You can't have a disaster with that 104 built into his average, right? So I think that's one we probably just put in our teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And only 21. I thought he was 23 at 20. I know.
He's a kid.
Yeah, it doesn't show on the field clearly. He's one of the composed and confident heads down back, and I like that. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to in terms of who was hot in this game?
Oh, probably not from a fantasy perspective. Amon had a good game, but he's the sort of player that has these games and then drops off the next week. You can't trust
running halfbacks. Yeah.
Obviously, some of these other, top liners just didn't really explode. We've only got 4 players that scored over 100, a couple more over the 90 mark. So it wasn't a great game for fantasy.
Wet weather as well at the end.
Wet weather does hurt it quite a bit. So, I think that's probably about it for players that were hot.
Yeah. On to the next. Giants v the Pies down at or up. God, I'm so used to being in freaking Brisbane. Up at NG, and we just saw the Giants walk all over them. To be honest, there's no real. You can't really sugarcoat it any more than that, can you?
Yeah, absolutely smashed them, especially in that second half. Right, first half it was a bit of just accuracy in front of goal. I feel
Correct,
that was probably the main concern, and then second half it's just it looks like the Pies are out of the retirement home, people have allured to a bit over the off season.
Anyone in particular?
There's a lot of it. Well, Dacos pulling up as much as he was, he might be in the retirement home a bit early, but
talking about hot players, some of them wasn't in the retirement home, that's for sure. Darcy Cameron, we saw Briggs go down early, which puts him against Keefe, who was delisted last year, had to bring him back as a spare this year, and no Hogan, and Cameron just dominated him, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's already priced at 96, which was something that probably made us all not really look at him. Cox pretty much done from the Collingwood side, I'd say, at this point. Was going to give him a couple of points of upside. But now, similar to what we've said with some of the players from the last game, that's a big score built into his average to generate some early cash. It's a bit more than what Miki did as well. So if you're choosing between the two, but just for a quick cash grab, it's probably Cameron. Probably the big question is, again, can you trade him on to one of these other rucks at his buy? Which could be a difficult one. You'll see how it goes. Maybe it's a Rowan Marshall coming back from an interrupted preseason. He drops his price a little bit, jump on him at a discount. There's definitely a play there. You just got to be brave enough to jump on these scores and to hopefully not have too many misfires with your rookies, because if you need to be making your rookie trades and all of that a few weeks into the season, then it becomes a lot harder to have these luxury cash grab sort of trades early on.
Yeah. Well, no, that's just it in these fantasy games, not just footy, but in the Big Bash Super Coach, which the boys covered on the channel so well, and just any other kind. I've been extremely guilty of this sort of thing, of preconceiving, pre-planning trades, and then when your plans don't go to plan, that's when you're really struggling. I think something to look with DC as well. Next fixtures of Port, where he'll match up against that sweet Soldo combo, which walked all over Boyd, albeit a rookie. English in the next round, and then Dakota against Carlton and Grundy against Sydney. I don't know what to make of those fixtures. They're not. It's a mixed bag for those, isn't it? And I think pre-trade hasn't really done it before. Is not for me, but I can see the merit and the upside in it. Ash playing off halfback was great. He dipped his toes in the midfield a lot more as well, which was interesting, but I don't see him keeping that as a long-term role.
Yeah, he probably got a little bit more with Whitfield cramping up a bit as well. You're not going to see Whitfield down at full forward very often this season, so that certainly benefited him a little bit. Probably not quite worth the cash grab. He's already priced close to 80 anyway, so it's not an absolute monster of a score for him.
No. Taylor just... Do you think he'll get 3 votes?
No. No.
What has he got to do?
It'd be understandable Callahan getting 3. I think that could still be fair, although I would go Taylor. The problem is, Taylor won't get any votes. So.
No votes. He kicked a goal. That'll help.
He did. Second time in his career.
A little bit more.
He's an interesting one from a fantasy context, though. Like, he's not. You don't really want these key position defenders in your fantasy side, but if we are talking a very quick cash grab, he scored 70 points above what he's priced at. Like, that's a massive cash grab. Like, if you wanted to go for it, especially in the back line where we're short on options, maybe you just, instead of going for a rookie at D6, or maybe instead of DeConing, if you're not trusting him,
just move him up
jump
one.
On Sam Taylor, get a quick bit of cash, and if you're lucky, maybe that's a couple of weeks, where he goes 70, 75. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, well, who would you
got
in that run?
Could be a pretty good option, just for a quick cash grab. Long term, he's not the play. Like, this is one you're getting rid of him by round 3 or 4 at the latest. You're not holding on to him.
It's got D's, Hawks, West Coast, and then Saints. And then move him on once that it's out of his average. This is the kind of thing that ruins his seasons before they've already began if it goes wrong as well. Got to use a trade getting him out. You might drop below a price point that you'd like to jump on someone else. Key back. He'll have to play him on field as well. That's a risk in itself. And we both
you got to trust that cash gen to be enough. Like, if you're comparing him to like a Zach Reed type, Taylor will make the same cash gen as Reed, but it'll take him 2 weeks instead of 10. So he's got that sort of potential generation for us and value for us now. It's just that concern of it makes our on-field score probably lower, and you run the risk of injuries, suspensions, misfired rookies, all of that sort of headache can come into it. But I mean, if everything goes according to plan, then that'll be a perfect pick.
And speaking of guys who were pretty well perfect, you mentioned him before, Finn Callahan. I'm seriously looking at him now. If this is what he's going to be serving up, he was just running the whole game, 2 goals, looked hungry, smart, 33 touches, as you can see there if you're on the YouTube, and just it was a real breakout game for him. But you're not so sure. I wanna hear your thoughts on why.
Well, that score certainly helps.
That's built in as well.
it's a bit more of a reassurance, I suppose, similar to a Will Day type, just knowing it's there. My concern was more around how long does he have that role in the midfield for? Does he just get kicked out when Tom Green comes back? But it'd be tough to kick him out after a game like that. So it certainly makes him look a lot better. So, look, I wouldn't say he's a lock quite to the extent that I would say with a Will Day.
Yep.
But he's one you'd probably want in your team. Like, unless it's just you can't fit enough of these, 7 to 800k sort of mid prices in your midfield. But otherwise, I think you probably want to start him now.
Yeah, priced at 77 as well. That builds, 30, 35 points already off the start. And after that, you can't see. Maybe I'm just seeing him with some rose-colored glasses at the moment a little bit. But, I can't see him going below, 90, 85?
Yeah, I could see him pushing that 90 mark, which the concern is that enough to start him if he's just a 90 guy? Because remember, this was probably by far the best game of his career to this point.
Yep. Well, what did you say about his ranking points on it or something?
Yeah, that was up on the Fox Footy streams. But if his best game to date has gotten him a 110, maybe he's not going to be a fantasy scoring beast. In the case of that first game of the season, 4 marks, 2 tackles, like, it's the sort of stats from a fantasy context we give a lot more credit to. And that's where someone like a Will Day running around gets those extra marks. I probably still prefer.
Out of them too, 100%.
It'd help if Callahan added that to his game, but at least he found a lot of the ball.
Yeah. Well, he had that real good mix of inside-outside in the game as well, which, we know is fantasy gold. And, it's just about that role and about Green. Do you wait and watch after the... Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But if that's what he's serving up, and, who have we got in the fixtures? Demons, Hawks, West Coast, Saints... if that's what he's serving up, then you're happy to take the plunge, I suppose. Final guy, I suppose, not hot, but kind of warm or warm enough for us was Perryman with a 90. Kept on scoring him, popping up, getting those kicks. Didn't do what we thought he did. He only got the 3 tackles there, but did a lot more with the footy than we thought he'd do, that's for sure.
Yeah, on a day where not a lot of Collingwood players could find it, he found enough of it. He's done enough. He didn't need to have a blowout sort of score. I think in our backlines, that's still enough value for him. Yep. Just tick it off. If you were keen on him before, bring him in. If you didn't like the look of him, he's probably not done enough to change your mind. But I don't think you can really go wrong with this one either way. He's not gonna end your season if you don't start him. He's not going to come out averaging 110. But I think he's probably worth the start.
Yeah, 100%. So, that's about it with the hot guys. I suppose Whitfield and Kelly doing what you'd expect. Josh Dacos.
Not too much to look at with any of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, following from that, back to game 1. Some guys that disappointed us within fantasy. I'm going to start pretty high up on there with James Sicily, not because so much of his score, but because he ended up going forward. In a game where you don't think the game didn't ride on him going forward, but they sent him up anywhere, which is a big, big red flag.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see. Like, Frost coming off the bench as a sub, allowing it to happen. If you're going to have Frost, Barad, all on the field, Scrimshaw's a decent size as well down back, so long as he's there. If you can go forward, we'll see how they balance that out. But it's too much of a headache. I don't think you can start him. Like, when you talk about players that could ruin your season, this could be one of those. Like, there's every chance he comes out and scores a 40 next week playing full forward for Hawks. So,
And
Yeah.
telling you as well, my number one rule for this fantasy season for myself, and I want to encourage others to join me in it, is not making up roles for players. Take it on face value, see what you've got in the games, and what you saw is a Sicily in the opposition forward square, and that is not going to be bringing you fantasy points. Next guy, my biggest disappointment. Grundy sucked as well, but my biggest disappointment. You'll have to keep on scrolling, Nathan. Keep him going.
I'll just keep going.
Okay,
going. We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
40s.
Oh no, we're still going.
Papa's below that. Oh my goodness.
There's your man.
Sheldrick, 32. I had faith. This guy was in my team. You could see in my team reveal in previous videos. I talked this guy up. Not that he was a big centre-bounce player, but Golden missing. Big role for him. He had great time on ground until, did he cop one in the head and then just didn't get subbed back on? 32, 9 touches. Man, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a pretty awful game from him. Like, for how much he does get talked up as being that kid that should get a spot at Sydney.
Yep.
And people think he's just the whipping boy. That was just not a very good game. And from a fantasy context, even if he bounces back and starts going 70s from here, you just can't start him. You can't pick him. Like, he's going to lose money for you the first couple of weeks of the season, and we can't have that.
No, in your average, and has the bye. Who knows how long he'll have to roll for, especially after that as well. And just can't go with him.
He nearly got outscored by Hanley in the end, who came on for a quarter and a bit. Like, Hanley looked all right. Like,
he was great.
That might be one, probably not one we can start with again with that 30, but give it a couple of weeks if he does actually end up in there 22. Just one to keep an eye on in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. And just going up the list, not a lot we were really looking at that disappointed.
Some people were looking at. I think we were both pretty against it. He didn't seem. He's never been like the distributor at St Kilda. I don't think
outmarked as well.
Yeah, you don't want him ahead of a Blakey or a Roberts or a Rampy distributing the ball for Sydney. So he'll be more of a lockdown role.
Yeah. Paul Warple had is it a syndesmosis they're fearing? 4 to 6.
That's a rough one for him.
Saw him in the boot. Just
add stocks to Newcomb and Day. Just sort of solidifies their midfield role a bit more. But it sucks for Warple. Maybe if we see him later in the season, he could be an option. But for the time being,
looking good too. Was in and amongst everything. Not
Grundy you touched on.
Yeah, it was one that we were watching where if he came out with a Meek like or a Darcy Cameron like score, then we might be able to squeeze him in. But obvious no go now.
I think the thing with Grundy too, like, because it's not like he was priced differently to a Meek. Like, he's at the same price as a Darcy Cameron, more expensive than Meek. But the difference is we've seen Grundy do it before. Like, we've seen him average 124. That's a while ago now. But we at least know that's a part of his game. And he's only 30. Like, it's not like he should be past his prime or anything as a ruckman. So
good team too.
Faith, but now you just can't do it. I think that's about it. A couple of primos like a Newcomb or a Heaney just didn't do enough to beat in your teams. But I don't think many people were looking that way prior to the game.
Yeah, low touch, high impact players.
Yeah.
And I guess we can just move on to the next. Giants v Pies. I think we'll start off with, I'm really upset. I really hoped this guy would come out with a okay-ish, by his high standard score, and then start dropping catch for the people that start him. But old mate Stick Legs Dacos, he just struggled, didn't he?
Yeah, he couldn't do like first quarter. It looked like he was just doing pretty standard Dacos things, and then slowed right down. Obviously, he had the tag, but there was a bit of cramp about it. Like, it just wasn't a good looking game. And for a player at his price, you can't touch it now.
No.
What it does mean, though, is that's going to be a great trade target for us
Yes.
as we enter upgrade season. If he's dropped 50 to 100k even, because I'd still back him, round 8 onwards to be, within the top 5 midfielders in fantasy.
So it's dropped from your M1?
I didn't have him quite at M1. I think I still had Brayshaw over him before. But yeah, he was probably around that M2 or M3 mark. And at this point, yeah, maybe drops to M5, something like that. Like he's still going to be a good scorer, but you can't start him because you need players to generate value early.
Correct.
And he's not going to do that.
No, and yeah, why get him now at a up price when you can get him for so much cheaper in a few weeks' time? I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who else? Who else disappointed?
Well, there probably wasn't too many players we're looking at. We'll talk about the rookies a little bit. So Connor Stone, 50 points.
Great.
He looked okay. It's enough of a score. Like if he's averaging 50, we're fine with that for a great basement rookie. Is it enough to keep his spot in the team? Probably. I don't think he's got great job security still. Like he still could lose his spot in the near future, but at least for next week he should be fine. Leaky, he was probably a bit of a slower starter. Picked up as the game went on a little bit.
Cornelio 41. Oh my goodness!
Too much. I don't think anyone was looking at Cornelio anyway.
No,
you should be fine there. Look, if you had Leak or Stone on your bench, I think they can still be on your bench. I think Stone is still on my bench in my team.
Yeah,
Leak,
me too.
I think, exited my team last night.
Well, with the news of the young kid from Richmond debuting.
Yeah, so
touch on that more in the preview podcast.
There's
later
a couple
in
of
the week,
those.
Yeah.
Reef McInnes, we did see him move to a more defensive role. He just didn't score very well, did he? He didn't look that comfortable in that role. So probably a line through that one. Briggsy, obviously really unfortunate to go down early. One of those ruckmen you could have made a case for. Question is, who's GWS's main ruck now? Do they just go with Keith as their main ruck? Do they try and experiment, chuck like Cadman in as the number 1 ruck or something like that? So it'll be a definite watch. That's one we'll probably have to wait till we see the teams announced. But that could be an option. Like if we've got a discounted ruckman, I don't even know what rookie ruckman might be on the GWS list, but if there's someone that's just not played a game yet, comes in, that could be a great shout. That might be one that kicks Boyd out of your team even.
Whoa.
Could be an option. But we'll have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah, on the flip side of it, it's just seeing how much Cameron dominated him and how just helplessly looked. I tell you, give a little sneak peek into the sort of preview final team reveal pod, but I've been looking at Gorn starting against him.
I could definitely make a case for that one.
Nuclear, I reckon. But anyway, we're not here to talk D's. We're here to talk these two. We touched on Josh Dacos before. Yeah, he had the role.
Yeah, Dacos he played fine, but he's already priced pretty heavily. I don't think he's done enough to be in.
Yeah, mid only as well. Like if he was a defender, he's one you could go just in the
defender would probably get straight in. Yeah, down there. But yeah, midfield, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 2 games done. It was all already going to be a short one, but I suppose it's still. I need to hit the voice note in. We need to talk about my first nominee into the Hall of Lame, and we had a few to choose from, didn't we, Nathan? We had what's his name? Florent lacing one out to McDonald's chest inside Ford 50 when when Swans were starting to mount a bit of a comeback and get some momentum. We had, was it Barras? Barras's little. No, who was it for the?
You're talking about Frost's kick.
Yeah, Frost.
We get subbed on. That was his first touch for the.
Nearly missed his foot coming out. But for the pure hilarity of it, I've got to go. I think what Pies were down by about 30 odd at this point. Membry marks it top of the goal square, has a look around, and former Saints player just makes it even funnier for me telling you about it. Nathan looks to play on, and Toby Green comes flying out of his own forward 50 into their defensive 50, just catches him unaware, drops it down, and yeah, it's an absolute coach killer, that, isn't it?
Yeah, about summed up Collingwood's day, really. They'll just
Yeah.
outrun the whole way.
Membry's day even, but yeah, that's one that, won't get talked about much, but I imagine Kingsley's put that on the projector screen come a Monday meeting and said this is exactly what we want to see, and yeah, not a great start for Membry at his new club. Could say what snuck up on him like a librarian, Nathan.
I wouldn't dare say such a thing. I've not earned that right.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the little injury segment, but just there's Warple.
Yeah, I think we've probably covered through most of the injuries that were really relevant.
Yeah, 2 games, bit of a short one for obvious reasons. We got the preview podcast for round 1. Oh my days, lockout is coming. I was just playing with my team this morning and I saw it dropped from 2 days down to 1 day, 23 hours, and it really just sunk in, didn't it? They were nearly at D-Day.
Yeah, nearly there. Obviously, it's still rolling lockout, so you've got the whole weekend to really fiddle around with your team, but obviously, every game that passes, those players are locked in. So, first game, you've got to make your Tom De Koning decision by then. If you are going for a Chera or a Doherty, that needs to be decided. Hollands, all your Richmond rookies, if you're going to have like a trainer.
Yeah, that's the one messing with me, yeah.
Jaden Short's probably a lock for all of us. I don't think that
just make sure he's in there. Just make sure you haven't assumed you've put him just because it was a no-brainer. Just look him in the eyes. Just take 30 seconds out of your day.
Yeah.
Save you a year load of pain.
Definitely.
And yeah, just so keen. Watch along. What have we got for watch along this week? I mean, we'll touch on it more later on, but
let's see. Maybe feel free to post down in the comments if you've got any preference of game, but I would say Friday night might be a good chance for Hawthorn Essendon.
Yep.
Maybe we do like a Saturday Arvo game. That could happen. But
Pies Port, I think could go well.
Yeah, Pies Port could be a cracker. So, look, we're open to suggestions. So, if there's any games in particular you guys think would be a great one for us to cover, let us know. Otherwise, we should by next pod announce when we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Regular. Well, yeah, we're going to kick into our regular scheduling now for our sort of pods when we're going to be bringing out our content. Just going to be, the preview like this one. They're not all going to be half an hour just because we'll have 8 games instead of 2. Wait, is it 8? 9?
It should be 9.
Right? 9, yeah. 8 when the buy rounds are coming. Already thinking too far ahead. But yeah, those throughout. Yeah, plenty more games, hot players, cold players to talk about. The preview in terms of what we're thinking we're doing with our team before lockout for each round, as well as the one, even 2. I loved the watch along. Can I just say, got plenty of people around it.
Pretty fun, pretty active community, which is always good.
And just looking to grow that even more. If you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe to the Insight Fantasy channel. We've got the Super Coach Boys absolutely killing it at the moment with their content. Saw another team reveal go out for them as well, so you might get tips off there. If not, you're fans of other sports, they're brilliant in that space as well. Leave a comment, let us know, exactly on the watch along or anything you want to see in the pods. We're still sort of getting to know our sort of structure, aren't we? We've got a rough one, but if there's some sort of segment or anything you'd like in it, let us know. And leave a comment on Spotify as well if that's where you want to listen to them. They're all rolling out there too. And join us, I think tomorrow, day after, for the preview pod where we'll be looking at our team in a little bit more depth. Happy with that, Nathan?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely great. Just any questions you have for us as well, last minute advice. We'll see if we can
as well.
See if we can set you off to a good start for your season.
X's if you haven't already. Mine, BK_IFS, Nathan's Fantasy, Nate, and then the letter O, but I'm sure you're all there already. Until the preview pod, take care, guys.